SaaS stocks are down, the market's down, there might be a recession, valuations are down. It's crazy. It's very uncertain circumstances right now in the macroeconomic environment and also just in our world of SaaS startups. Here's the thing that I've learned. Here's the thing that great leaders do. What they do is they find a way to establish some sense of certainty amidst very uncertain situations. That's what really great leaders are made of. And this is your opportunity as a founder, as a CEO, as a leader, even as a team member. For all of us, this is an opportunity for you to say, okay, here's a set of things that I cannot control, like the macroeconomic trends. And here's a set of things that I can control, like how we approach this crazy uncertain situation, what we do for our customers, how we go into the market, what we do with our P&L, how we raise all these things you have some level of influence and control over. This is where great leaders are born, and this is the opportunity in front of us. So I wanted to do a video having gone through multiple corrections in my last 15 years of being a SaaS founder, executive, operator, team member, you name it. I wanted to walk you through the three principles that has served me really well in navigating uncertain situations like this. And look, there are no guarantees when it comes to business. You know this, I know this, but having gone through so many of these ups and downs and some crazy situations, what I have learned are there are some principles that can help you navigate this in a slightly better way. And what I have learned is if you do these three things that I'm going to show you, it will help you get back some control on the things that you do control and be able to actually navigate the choppy roads ahead for your SaaS business. And that will allow you to survive and thrive so that you can go dominate when things get better. And by the way, things will get better. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS business faster with an unstoppable strategy. Now, if you are new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches on how to grow your SaaS business faster. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. Now, if you're already part of this channel, if you're part of this community, we just hit 26,000 subscribers. Incredible. So happy to have you over here. My people, welcome back. Okay, so I remember it was 2016. No one's talking about 2016, like they're talking about 2000, they're talking about 2008, the great financial crisis. But 2016, I remember we were gearing up. I was running my company, ToutApp, and we were gearing up to raise our Series C. Right as we were gearing up to do that, SaaS valuations dropped something like 57%. It just like completely dropped. We got these like insider memos from our investors, like Andreessen Horowitz sent us this watermarked PDF report of like, here's where we think valuations are going based on the public market. So start to batten the hatches. And if you're going out to fundraise, good luck. It's going to be a crazy, crazy time. In case that sounds familiar, by the way, this was the 2016 drop right here. In case that sounds familiar, well, that's what's going on right now. And look, VCs are incentivized to take advantage of situations like right now, regardless of what's going to happen next. And no one really knows what's going to happen next to get a better deal on fundraising. They want prices to be lower. They want valuations to be lower. So it's just true. But just to be clear, this graph right over here, which is from Tom Tung's blog, I really like his blog. I'll link to it below. He covered the last 5 specific SaaS corrections. So corrections happen in the markets, and we just don't know if this is going to be a small correction or if it's going to be a giant V recovery or if it's going to be a long drawn out true recession that's going across multiple markets. And right now it looks like it's going through multiple markets, not just SaaS. There's a lot of correction happening. But then again, at the same time, if you look at the 10-year view of all the indices, we're just basically like trickling back down to pre-pandemic levels. So who knows? No one knows. And I've worked at Bridgewater, which is one of the greatest hedge funds in the world under Ray Dalio. And I worked there during the great financial crisis. And even then they said, look, we cannot exactly predict how long this is going to go. But what they did say is there's no such thing as a good market or a bad market. There's just bad bets and good bets, meaning you can't control what the market's going to do, but you can bet accordingly. And that really stuck with me because whether it was surviving the great financial crisis or whether it was going through the 2016 correction or the 2018 correction or any of the other ones that have come or going through the pandemic, what I learned is there's no such thing as a good market or a bad market. There's just good bets and bad bets. And that's one of the biggest things that I learned to give me the right mindset to approach leadership in uncertain situations like this. So on this episode, that's one of the lessons I learned. But what I wanted to really distill down is specific to SaaS, the 3 principles you absolutely want to know so that you can actually step up to lead, so that you can survive, so that you can thrive, and so that you can build an incredible SaaS company that outlives whatever is about to happen and for as long as it's going to happen for. So if you're excited to dig in, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And let's go to principle number 1. Principle number 1 is you need to actually embrace being the wartime CEO. Because I'll tell you this, being in situations like this, what is a very natural thing to happen is to just be in denial. Be in denial like, oh, this is not really happening, or this will turn around, or this can't be that bad. Oh, people are overreacting, whatever it may be. It's very important for you to not do that. What's important for you to do is put on the wartime CEO hat, because that means that you will be prepared no matter what happens. If things turn around, then awesome, you will be prepared. If things go much worse than we anticipate, then awesome, you will be prepared. What leadership means is that you are prepared for your people. You are prepared to manage what may be coming up. And that's very, very, very important. And so I always start with principle number 1 in this one is because it's just like this mindset shift, because so much of leadership, so much of scaling SaaS companies is mindset. And for you as the founder and the CEO and the leader. And so putting on the wartime mode and embracing the fact that, look, we're going into uncertain situations. We need to make good bets. We need to make some bets over things that we can control that are going to yield positive results for us. So switching into that mode and being very ruthless about it and being very vigilant about it is what encompasses this idea of wartime CEO. And that's essentially what you want to switch on first. The second thing you want to do, this is going to sound obvious, but I'm going to get into specifics on how. The second principle you want to do is you want to control your burn. Now, in uncertain situations, you want as much runway as possible. That's just basic 101, startups 101. And so mainly because it may be harder to raise. And if you are bootstrapped, then you want to be a little bit more in control about your burn anyway, on what you're spending money on. You want to be smart about it. One thing to know is that if you just slash costs and just cut back on everything, that may be like the safest thing to do, but that may actually kill your business as well. This is why it's super hard on controlling your burn. People may tell you, oh, you got to bring your burn down. But if you don't spend enough, then you may not be able to come out of this the right way and take advantage of the trends that are going to happen after. But if you spend too much, you will not be able to survive. So there's this like balance that you're going to have to find. Now, how do you do that? That's where this principle really goes into exactly what you want to do. The first thing you should be doing here, and this is something that I've done anytime we've had bad situations like this, is you want to create a new set of plans, your financial plans or your models, whatever you look at, that outlines the best, likely, and worst case scenarios. Normally we have a plan. It's like, let's go drive to that plan. And you created a plan in the beginning of the year. What you want to do now is you want to say, cool, based on everything that we know right now, what is the likely scenario? Where do we think this is going? What do we think is an upside, like a best case scenario? And what is the worst case scenario? Something very powerful happens when you create a plan like this. You and everyone else involved will feel an increased amount of control about what's going on. This is something you control, and you can see all the levers and knobs. And that's important in situations where so much is crazy and you have no control over it. Understanding, well, these are 3 scenarios and maybe there's some probabilities on which one is more likely to be true. Here's our worst case scenario. Here's our best case scenario. It's going to give you some certainty in a very uncertain situation. And that alone will allow you to make better decisions going forward, make better bets. Remember, this is one of the things I learned at Bridgewater and Ray Dalio. It's like, no such thing as good markets and bad markets. It's just good bets and bad bets. That's it. It's the bets that you're making. So focus on the bets that you can make. Go develop or redevelop your plan around what your best case scenario is, what your likely case is, and what your worst case is, because I'll give you some sense of understanding of like, okay, here's what we have to play with. Where do we think we're headed? And you may say, look, cool, let's not change anything. Let's stay on the likely scenario for another month. If that's not proving to be true, it's moving more towards worse, then we can course correct. But if it's really terrible now, maybe we course correct now. So you can have that discussion with yourself and your co-founder and your team. The second thing that you can do is you can go after, this is something I learned at Bridgewater and I've used it myself. You can go do a 20% beatdown. 20% beat down on all your vendors. You basically go to all your vendors, all your suppliers, whoever you're paying money to, and say, look, it's crazy right now, but we don't want to churn. We don't want to leave you. We want to continue this business relationship, but we need you to work with us. So we need to do a 20% reduction in our spend. Whether that's a discount, whether that's a deferred payment, whether that's a renegotiation of the deal, even if you have 12-month contracts, just go back and say, look, we owe you this money, or we're going to be paying you this money. We don't want to churn. We don't want to leave you. But what we do want to do is renegotiate. And you go in and do a 20% beat down. This is something that I've done in multiple businesses. And in times like these, people don't want churn. They would rather keep the cash flowing. If it means that they can actually still get some cash versus a total churn or you just going out of business, they'll do it. And so you'll be amazed how much you can control your burn or reduce your burn just by doing a 20% beat down on your vendors, which is a net neutral impact to your business, meaning you're not doing massive layoffs, you're not cutting massive costs, you're not turning off your go-to-market. And so it's not like you're doing a bunch of stuff that like cuts into you and like has you bleed out. Sorry for the terrible analogy, but it's like a good one. It's just keeping the same vendor relationships and you do 20% beat down. So you can do that. The third thing you want to do is, I have it listed as churn. Let me explain what that means. What you should do is you should map out all the customer renewals that are coming and get very serious about who you think is going to churn, who is going to make it, and who is not. In times like this, enterprise customers are generally fine. They're like well capitalized. They'll weather the storm. They may do layoffs, but they're not going to mess with vendors as much. But mid-market starts to become a little bit riskier, and SMB is very risky, and solo entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, if you're selling to individual users, is super risky. Meaning the lower you are in the market, the more churn is going to spike in times like this. People are just going to cut that off. They're like I'm not spending, nothing's working. And so the churn risk is something you want to really understand, which will feed into your best likely and worst case scenario. And so what you really want to do is get your team together, get your customer success leader together if you have one, or if it's just you, then you got to do it. And you got to really like, what are our renewals? What segment of the market are they in? How good of a business are they? How quality of a business are they? What's the likelihood that they're going to go out of business? Will they churn? Will they not? And let's go really start to go forward and engage these people and give them a bear hug and make sure they're fully supported through this period so that they are successful and they stay with us and they don't churn. Because again, this is revenue you're counting on, but maybe at high risk and you don't know. And so you really want to get a full handle of churn, particularly knowing that certain segments of the market churn way higher than other segments of the market. And so you want to figure out how much at risk your renewal revenue is in, because that's your cash flow as well. And then finally, this is what people start with, but I think you should end with, is your people costs, right? Everyone's hearing about layoffs. Everyone's hearing about cuts. Now, I believe there are a lot of companies doing layoffs, but they're doing layoffs because everyone else is doing layoffs. Because every large company has Slack. There's a bunch of people that are not doing that much work, and they're like, man, like we can't quite fire them. But it's like, but a layoff is a great way to like, hey, you know what? We're just gonna cut the bottom 10%. Like, let's just do it. Everyone is doing it, so we can do it. We don't know if these layoffs are truly because they are that much in trouble, or they're just opportunistically reducing costs just to be on the safe side, just like every good business. With that said, it may come down to the fact that in order for you to maintain your business and to survive so that you can thrive when things turn around, you may have to cut some people. And I'm not going to go into the details on how to do that. I'm actually going to do a separate episode. I want to do a theme of episodes on how to navigate times like this, because I've literally done it. And so I'll where I share the principles. So I'll do an episode literally on how you can manage layoffs and how to approach it. It's the worst thing ever. I had to do it. I like literally cried the day before, like by myself. It was like the worst thing. But sometimes in order for the business to survive, you have to do it. And so you want to figure out, do you have the right number of people? And there are natural ratios that come into SaaS businesses. So you may have more people than you really need for right now, given your growth trajectory. And so you'll want to figure that out. I'll do a separate episode about that. If you're interested in that, email me directly. You probably are not going to comment about it publicly. So shoot me an email about what questions you have, and I'll do a special episode on that. And so those are the ways you can actually control your burn. And that's principle number 2. Once you're in wartime mode, it's like, cool, we need to like figure out what our controls are. So best case, medium case, worst case. Let's figure out how we can renegotiate our vendor contracts. Let's get a handle on our churn expectations and see what else we can do to retain that revenue. And then let's look at our people costs. That's how you actually practically manage burn, right? You can't just slash burn like overnight and your business might die because of that. Again, these are all balances, right? Like if you just stop spending, your business will die. If you don't stop spending, your business will die. You have to find some happy medium. You have to spend on the right things, because the point here is to survive and then thrive. And so that's, you want to think about these things. Now, I have principle number 3, but before I go into that one, let me just pause here for a second. Are you seeing the power in this? I know it's crazy times, and I don't know what kind of emotional state you're in. Maybe you're feeling great, maybe you're not, maybe I don't know. But I wanted to do this video where I just share I'm like, oh my God, I've been through this multiple times. Like I want to share what I know. So if you're getting the value in this, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. If this is making sense to you, but you have additional questions that maybe I'm not answering, put it in the comments below and we'll try to cover them in future videos. You can also email me directly, that's fine too. And also, one of the things that you're gonna have to figure out, this is my core message, like if I really come down to it, there's a balance in this. This is what wartime CEOs do. You don't wanna have the organization implode. And if you over-index on too much conservatism, then you're not gonna do well. If you don't change anything, you're not gonna do well. You have to find some happy medium. That's why you need that wartime mode of like, what is the right medium here to make sure that we survive and thrive. And so you are going to be thinking about how do we grow. And so I have a 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide, completely free. I'll put in an additional slide with some resources on how to manage times like this, and I'll keep adding to it as we do more of these videos. I'll put the link below, you don't have to go right now. Let's go to principle number 3. Also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm if you're getting value from this. Number 3 is, okay, you are switching to wartime mode. You're controlling your burn. You're thinking through your best case, medium case, worst case. You're thinking through your 20% beatdown on your vendors. You're thinking through your churn. You got that under control. You're thinking through, I have the right people in the boat. We don't have any excess. Now you want to look for upsides, right? And this is part of being a wartime CEO because you're like, we got to survive and then thrive. That's what we're looking to do. And so what you want to do is look for go-to-market upsides. And some of the things, I want to get into details on this, but if you find that level of control, then you're going to feel stronger, and then that will allow you to make better bets. Remember, there's no, it's not about good markets or bad markets, it's good bets and bad bets. And so you're trying to find as many good bets to make that you have under your control and influence given the circumstances you're in. That's what you want to be doing here. And so the question becomes, what are good bets we can make that puts us in a better position than the competition or the rest of the market, given our advantages? And one of the biggest things you want to be looking at is what are upsides you have in your go-to-market. How do you do that? Well, first thing, and this will probably feel familiar if you're a longtime viewer, but it's relevant and slightly different in this context, is you may want to revamp your ICP. Given the changes in the market, you may want to not sell to the smallest businesses anymore. Maybe you want to go a little bit more up market because they have an even more pronounced need. So maybe you want to tweak your ICP given the changing macroeconomic conditions. Maybe you need to adapt your manifesto or your messaging or your strategic narrative. Maybe you were selling a certain way, but now people are thinking differently and operating differently and making decisions on budget differently. So you have to position this in a different way. And so maybe you need to adapt your manifesto. And then number 3, maybe there are unprofitable channels. Oh, there we go. Maybe there are unprofitable channels that you are spending money on, but you should just cut that off. You're like, look, we're not going to do any experimental bets right now. We just want to double down on what we know is working, or we want to double down on what we know to work versus stuff we're just like doing all weird, like just experiment. You want to have a proper Broadway show. And so those are just 3 things, but there's so much more that, in fact, like for people that I work with in my coaching programs, over the next few weeks, we're going to be doing special sessions on, all right, given these circumstances, like what do we need to tweak? What do we do differently? Working on it together to make sure everyone's supported. So there's so many, but just this is a good start for you to think about what are upsides in your go-to-market. How do you revamp your ICP? How do you adapt your messaging and your manifesto? How do you double down on the channels that are working and cut off the ones that are unprofitable? Those are all things you can do. Net, these are crazy times. Again, going back to this like Bridgewater analogy that stuck with me because I was during the great financial crisis, I worked there and I learned it. Like they were like, look, no such thing as good or bad markets, like good bets and bad bets. For you, same thing. But why is that important? Because it's like you can't change the markets. There's a whole bunch of stuff you cannot change. You can't change the valuation multiples, but you can change how you operate your business, who you sell to, how you manage your churn, how many people you keep, how many people you cut, what you spend money on versus what you don't spend money on, what you double down on and what you don't. That's what you have over your control. Those are good bets you can make. And so principle 1, to recap, embrace being the wartime CEO. Number 2, control your burn. Look at your best, likely, and worst case scenarios. Do a 20% beatdown, get your churn handled and predicted, figure out what's going to churn and not, and then look at your people. And then number 3, look for go-to-market upsides. You can't sell necessarily the same way as you've been selling before. You may have to up-level your messaging. You may have to revamp your ICP. So go do that so that you can actually place those good bets. And those are the 3 principles I had for you. And now you know at least from the beginnings of it, the core principles on how I've navigated crazy turns in the business through all the different corrections we've had in SaaS over the last 15 years. And this will hopefully give you some food for thought on how to start thinking about this and get the mindset right and pull on the right things. And the biggest thing is get yourself under control. This is your opportunity to step up to lead. And that's what you're here for, and that's what you're gonna do. And these are 3 principles to do. And you can rewind and rewatch this if you really wanna get them down. Also, if you want to dig more into like, cool, what are some good bets I can make? How do I grow? What are my upsides? I invite you to check out my 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. It's completely free. Just go to getunstoppable.com/strategy. Getunstoppable.com/strategy. And I will have updated the guide with an additional slide on exactly for this environment on how you can actually be the wartime CEO and survive and thrive in this environment. So we'll put in that extra one. So if you've gotten it before, get it again because we'll have an updated version for this environment, and we'll do some more videos. I'm going to wartime mode for all the CEOs that I coach. I'm going to wartime mode for you and this community, and I invite you to go into wartime mode along with me. And so if you have additional topics you want me to cover, shoot me an email. And if you got value from this video, please smash that like button. Also, I will be doing more videos in this series on wartime CEO and SaaS. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. If you have a friend, if you have a fellow SaaS founder, operator, team member that would get value from this video, please share this video with them. We put a lot of love into these videos. Really want to serve this community in the highest way possible. So it just means a lot when you share it, when you like, when you comment. It just means a lot. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours, it's going to be unstoppable. I'm TK. I'll see you in the next episode.